Lovely to see you, Gareth, and talk to you. And are you able to tell me about this new show, first of all, please? Because it sounds fantastic. Your tribute to Frankie Valli in the Four Seasons.
Yeah, I've been a fan of Frankie for many years now. My parents were big Frankie Valli fans, and so as a child, the songs were literally drummed into me. And I then had this idea to produce a show with all those big hits in the same evening. And the songs like Can't Take My Eyes Off of You, Big Girls Don't Cry, Sherry, Walk Like a Man. And yeah, we guarantee that at the end of the night, everyone will be out of their seats singing, dancing along. Yeah, and we can't wait to bring it to Wycombe.
Yeah. And do you like playing in Wycombe? Have you played there before?
I've been at this one, I think, two times, but quite a while ago now. Yeah, and I can't wait to be back there though. And it's always a great audience. It's a beautiful theatre. The auditorium's massive, and yeah, we can't wait to be back there.
And it sounds like you've got as you say, those really big hits, that those nostalgic hits that they just don't, you just can't make them like they used to be anymore.
Oh, that's right. And you know, ever since I've started touring the world, which was probably 22 years ago now, I'm old now.
You're
You know,
younger than me.
I always try and throw in a Frankie Valli song, into my sets to, and it always goes down well wherever you are in the world, whatever audience, whatever age audience you're playing to, and and to have all those hits in the same show on the same evening, I think it's going to be a real buzz.
It's going to be fantastic. And can you tell me what your first memory of music was growing up, Gareth?
Well, as a child, I had a terrible stammer. I still struggle with my speech on a day-to-day basis, and it's tough at times. But as a child, my speech was really out of control, and it was hard work. And at the age of 8, though, I learned to sing, and I discovered I could sing. I had no idea I had that before that point. My friends were going along to a audition for Joseph and his Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, and I just went along because my friends were going. My music teacher asked me to sing, and yeah, I discovered I could sing, and that became everything to me because I wasn't able to speak before that at all. And so this became my only form of expression and actually able to get the words out my mouth, and that's why music and singing really means a lot to me.
It's fantastically inspiring, and I was very moved when you were talking to Ed Balls on Good Morning Britain quite recently. How
Yeah.
how did you feel about that? Were you surprised by his emotion?
Yeah, massively actually. Um, I'd obviously known of Ed Balls and knew that he had a stammer, but to say that I inspired him, to not hold back, and to become a politician, really touched a nerve with me and obviously Ed. And yeah, that's why whenever I do an interview, I like to mention my speech, just simply because you don't know, who you're inspiring. I'm sure there's many people out there who have some form of affliction, that choose to not follow their dreams, purely because of that reason. They feel that it will hold them back. But all I've ever tried to do is to try and instill in people that you don't have to accept what you're given in life, and you can become anything you want. You just have to work hard and persevere.
It's a great message. And I've read also, Gareth, that you were bullied at school, and I wondered whether you perhaps you have had contact from these people now, or if you don't, anything that you would say to them, because it's phenomenal what you've achieved despite the bullying that you faced.
Yeah, it was awful at the time, um, and in a weird way that made me who I am today. Those hard times have made me a much stronger and much more resilient person. Um, I'm often asked if I could say anything to the bullies. No, I'd probably say thank you. because they did actually make me the person I am. And I recently did the TV show SAS, Who Dares Wins, and I was the only one who passed at the end, and I think
Mm.
that one thing that got me through was tapping into that old hurt, and it was as though the DSs on that program, who were the toughest men you've ever met, but they were pussycats in comparison to the bullies at school in my head, and I think that's what got me through that experience and meant that I was, the last man standing.
Um, and we interviewed Billy as well a couple of weeks ago, who's doing a theatre
Yeah.
tour, and he's just phenomenal, isn't he? He's got so much to say about
Oh, he's a
owning up
brilliant
to your
guy.
own past.
Yeah, he's a really fantastic guy. Just being around those guys, Billy and Foxy, and all those guys that have actually done it and been there, and put themselves on the line, for us guys. It's really inspiring, to be around such motivated, strong-minded people.
Yeah, it's fantastic. And you mentioned Pop Idol, of course. Hard to believe it's 22 years ago.
I'm old now.
You're not, you're still a spring chicken. Um, and are you friends at all with Will Young, who's obviously a huge star as well?
Yeah, yeah, we often speak, me and Will. Actually, we was only texting last week. Actually, he did a interview to say that he's recently moved into my hometown, and I was
Oh,
quite confused about this because my hometown is up in Bradford. So I have a place there where I go whenever I can to see my family who still live up there. I've been based in London though for 22 years. And so I have a place in London, and then I have a place out in Wiltshire that I bought because my daughter goes to school there. So I figured it was the Wiltshire property, and I called him and said, yeah, he's moved into the same area, so we're gonna hook up for tea and a scone. He said the next time I'm in the area.
oh, lovely. It's a great part of the world. Yeah, we that's our territory as well. What's the
Nice.
village? Can you say?
Oh, yeah, it's a place called Cairn.
Oh,
Cairn, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And so my daughter used to go to school there. She's now moved to a different school, but it's only 10-15 minutes away. And so I bought that property just to purely be with her when I'm not on tour.
Oh, wonderful. And are you in touch with Simon Cowell much? Are you friends with him?
We we often sort of bump into each other at events and stuff. I haven't seen him for some time though, but yeah, he's a great guy, Simon. I have a lot to owe to him. From the moment I walked into the audition room on Pop Idol, I was his boy. He was rooting for me from the start, and so that belief in him is the reason why I'm here today.
Yeah. And I'm interested by your musical theatre writing journey as well, because you're preparing um, a production based on your own experiences. Can you talk about that as well?
Yeah, yeah. I've had this idea to write a musical about my stammer, and about the hardships that come with having a stammer. It isn't just a repetition of sounds. It's the mindsets you avoid speaking to people. You avoid certain words, and that can become a very lonely, isolated place. And it crafts and molds the person you are in life. Many people choose to work behind a computer screen so that they don't have to speak to people. And that's just one of many examples. And so I had this idea to write a musical that really shows an insight into exactly what it's like having a stammer. And I've had this idea for many years now, probably 6 or 7 years. But it took for us to go into lockdown for me to be in the same room with a piano and a guitar and to actually write it. And I wrote about 10 songs during lockdown. I then took it to a huge West End producer who jumped at the chance and said, "Do not speak to anybody else about this." And it was commissioned on the spot. and you know, which was very fortunate, very lucky. We're now just kind of finessing finessing the final touches of it, the script, and it's really powerful. It's called Speechless, and we're in talks with two big West End theatres right now. Hopefully for next autumn. That's not set in stone, but uh, that's the plan. So hopefully by the end of next year, I'd have written a West End show too.
That's fantastic. And if I just ask you as well, for my final question, what advice would you have for anyone who is struggling because of their speech, because of their stutter or a stammer, and who does want to hide? What can you say to them?
Yeah, I just always say to people, you don't have to accept everything you're given in life. You know, I was handed a card, you know, this in life when I was dealt my hand, as it were, and you know, I could have very easily just gone, you know, as a stammerer, I'm never going to be able to handle interviews. I'm never going to be able to learn a script and recite it on stage. You know, but since those days, I've done lots of big West End shows where I've had to learn a script and act. You know, I'm having this interview now, and so my speech was so bad, and yet something inside me wouldn't let me give up, and you know, kind of told me to persevere. And yeah, any advice to people with a stammer, or any form of affliction, just to not let that define who you are, because you can be anything. It's just how much you want it and how much work you're willing to put in.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you so much. We're looking forward to seeing you at Wycombe Swan
Yes,
and
yeah,
following your
it's
journey and your show.
bless you. Thank you so much. We're at the Wycombe Swan on the 15th of October. Really, really, really looking forward to being there. It's a great theatre. The show is going to be a fantastic show. I've produced it all myself from the ground up. Um, you know, putting together the venues and the cast and the band and all those incredible songs. And yeah, we're really looking forward to bringing it to the Wycombe Swan. It's going to be a brilliant show.
Fantastic. Well done. Lovely to talk to you, and we'll see you
Thank
there.
you. Yeah, see you there. Lots of love. Thank you.